You didn't murder anyone. Like,
It feels like that. I think we end up treating others the way we treat ourselves without quite noticing it. Like me, who I do a lot of like blame and shame to myself, then of course I'm going to do that to others. Or if I do it to others, of course I'm going to do it to myself.
I'm a little different. I let it go quickly or I just apologize. I'm just not willing to add more wounds into my life.
Yeah. One of the things that shifted, I think, when we got together was I've never felt judged. That's not true. I felt very judged by you in the past, but I know that 99% of that was actually me expecting you to be judging me, and therefore I felt defensive or whatever, right? But over time, I've realized like I've done some like really knuckleheaded things, it might be embarrassed. Like I said something somewhere that was like really, gosh, I really wish I hadn't have said that. And then like I never want to bring it up again because it was embarrassing. Or like I made like this mistake when we were living in Kenya, and it ended up costing us money and costing you time and a lot of stress. And like I'm so ashamed about it. But you're just like you don't even think about it anymore. No. And that's so nice, and you've proven that over and over again, where like one example that I get to keep bringing up, and I get to keep bringing it up because you don't hold it over my head. And that is, there were a pair of earbuds, and I was like, those are my earbuds. And she was like, no, they're mine. I'm like, no, they're definitely mine. Like, this is not a question. We're not having this conversation. I take the earbuds, I'm using them for several days. She can't find her earbuds. Oh my goodness. And then I went to put on my jacket, and guess whose earbuds were in his jacket pocket? It couldn't have been hers because she's not a he. It was mine. And I was like...
And we had this tradition of putting names on our earbuds because we keep losing them.
But we had gotten new earbuds or something had happened. There was some reason why I actually did have a pair that didn't have a tag on it, and you had a pair that didn't have a tag on it. But I realized like in that moment, an earlier version of myself would have been like, I'm just going to like pretend this never happened. I'm just going to go like put hers somewhere and say, oh, like here are yours or something like
honey,
terrible lying like that. Like,
I found them in the closet.
Yeah, lucky you have such a nice guy who found your earbuds that you misplaced. And then I would have lived with that forever. Then there's the other thing, where you do something like that and you're feeling kind of humiliated about it, and you're like, you hold on to it for a while, and you're like, oh, I got to do something about it, and I don't, this is really hard, and then you kind of like mumble about it for a few days, and you're like, oh, by the way, I did that immediately. I'm like, hold on to this for 0 seconds. I marched right into the office, and I was like, you were right, I was wrong, here are your earbuds, here are mine. And like, that was so... First of all, it was great for me because now I didn't have to like carry it anymore. I took responsibility. I didn't have to blame myself. Yeah, I made a mistake. I went to clean up my mess. And boy, just how good that felt.
I know that. And it was also good for me. I got my headphones back.
It's great for you. But I feel when I like look at these events, like even yesterday on the way home, after talking to my brother and his wife, I was just like really bummed out. And we're like, what's the matter? Oh, we walked inside and you're like, what's the matter? And I'm like, I'm bummed out. And you're like, that's not helping,
No,
like the blame and the shame or the guilt, like you could have been mad at me. So many times we've both made mistakes that you could have been mad at, right? Like, missing a plane, like leaving your driver's license at the liquor store when we're about to get on an airplane, like all these things that we both have things that in any relationship gives the other person like license,
almost the right to be mad at the other,
right, and hold it against them. And like I almost feel like that's one of the keys to my happiness in this relationship, is that there's like I can actually be totally forthright and be like, yeah, I screwed this thing up. Or you might notice something, like even on the way back, like you screwed this up, right? And then, but that wasn't blame, and you didn't even say it in that way. But like, that's basically the thing, is like, you made a mistake. But in the past, I know I would have been defensive because you're like accusing me of making a mistake as opposed to just, sharing it. And then you get to be, and then it's like part of cleaning up whatever mess we had made.
Yeah, I think though part of the most important thing about our relationship with like how we take responsibility for things that we've done, I think it's because we started our relationship as like really, I don't know, like I don't want to say conscious adult, but we were ready for relationships. Like I think we both decided to take a consciousness class. I don't know if you could call it that, together on my birthday 3 years ago, and we hardly knew each other. So I feel like there were things.
No, it wasn't that soon.
Wasn't that soon?
No, it was 2.5 years ago on your birthday. We'd been together for a year. And it was a commitment that we made to spend this money and this weekend doing a program that we actually didn't want to do, that we thought like, this is probably a waste of money. This is dumb. What in the world are we doing? But we don't know if we're going to find something perfect. So let's just agree to do it and know that because our intention of doing it together, we have that, then there's no way for it to be bad. But that was the choice. Yeah.
Yeah. And I think it completely changed the way we own up to our mistakes, and it's because we did it together. So it's not like embarrassing for one of us, so.
It's still actually embarrassing for me. Like
when you have to do it in front of me?
When I make a mistake, even in front, I still get embarrassed. There was something that came up the other day and I was just like, I forget what it was now, but I was just embarrassed. And you still are like, you won't, I can talk to you about things that are embarrassing to me or things that I feel shame about, and I can process it because I know you're not going to be like, ugh. Not to say you don't like call me out on it, like I bought earbuds on eBay and they came broken, and you're like, dude, what in the world are you doing buying earbuds like on eBay, so you can save a few dollars? And that was you pointing it out. And, and then like, you're okay to point that out, and then, but you pointed it out. And then coming after that, like I can actually still talk to you about the frustration because you pointed it out. You're like, that's ridiculous that you do that, without me feeling like I'm a bad person because I did it.
Yeah. So yeah, have I done?
You never do anything like embarrassing or
oh my
anything
God,
like that.
I do all the time. But I think I'm a little different than the way you take it. Is like if I let it go quickly, or I call and just apologize. Like it's just easier for me. Like I made a commitment to myself that I don't make people my enemies going forward. Like I have not had a friend. Like to me, the concept of the way people say like, oh, I dropped my friend, I don't talk to them anymore. That I promised myself that does not happen to me.
And you don't. And you have a situation with one of your friends who who was like, also like, I have her contact information. We've chatted a few times, and I literally wrote like a diatribe in frustration about what she did to you. And then I just deleted it. And I was like, you know what? I'll think about this. I'm angry right now. At the end of the day, I still think I was totally justified had I sent it, but I didn't. And guess who has forgiven and moved on?
What's the point? Like holding anger is a lot. Like so many people, I'm just not willing to add more wounds into my life.
Yeah.
Like I have enough to deal with. Like to add like friends that I see once a year as enemies now just doesn't make sense to me.
Right.
So I've made this commitment that if someone does something to me, I'm committed to talking about it. And we don't have to be best friend. Like that's not what I'm talking about. I just feel like the process needs to be talked about, and then I'm gonna let go.
Yep.
And then I don't have to call you anymore. But when I see you on the street, it's not gonna be awkward because we talked about it.
It's a quality that I find terribly admirable, and I wish I could like just assimilate. But it's great to be able to learn from that too. Yeah, you let things go. You don't hold on. It's really beautiful, which is great to be in relationship with that. Yay, lucky me. But it's also, you don't do that for yourself. And I think we end up treating others the way we treat ourselves without quite noticing it. So like if we are like me, who I do a lot of like blame and shame to myself, then of course I'm going to do that to others. Or if I do it to others, of course I'm going to do it to myself. Like even what happened, like kind of going back with my brother, was like I did that to him, and then of course I had to do like equal and opposite to myself. So therefore, I think I was a little harder on myself than it was on him. Actually, I'm
Yeah,
way
you
harder
are
on
way
myself.
harder on yourself.
I
I see you and I'm just like, wait, you didn't murder anyone. Like,
It feels like that, like making mistakes, doing something that makes somebody else like that hurts somebody else when it's my fault and I feel like I could have done better, rips me up inside.
I know, I see, and I'm like, wait, the way you react and the way you did, I'm just like,
Yeah.
I was there. Like, it just doesn't make sense,
Like
the
even
way.
when I talk about it, you feel like I talk about it being more harsh on myself than it was.
Correct. It's not like you're talking about it like being harsh on yourself. You are harsh on yourself because I look at you and I'm just like, really, you're struggling over that? Like, get over it. So you said it, move on,
Yeah.
I remember like the last time when we moved to Kenya, I had to like do the same thing with my younger sister. So when I was 14, 15, I went to a boarding school and my sister was a saver. Saver meaning like she'd collect all the coins after we went to the supermarket and like keep all the money. And not once, twice, I took all her coins. And I left for boarding school and I went to school for 3 months. And she was a kid. She was maybe 9 or 10. And it just tore. Like she's been saving that money for like months. And she came, and then I knew I would not face the consequences because by the next time I came home was 3 months later, they would have forgotten. So I was just like, there's no, like, my mom is not going to find me to like do anything about it. Then I did it a second time. And this time I really knew, like when I came back home, like she said it to me and I knew that it really hurt. I think like I broke something with like the way she used to save. I think she started hiding it on the week she knew I was going back to school, to boarding school. Anyway, when I came back to Kenya after being gone for maybe 9 years, I was like, you know what? I need to apologize for because I remember that feeling. Like I was just like, I know. I was 15, but okay, now I'm 30. I went back, I was 33, that I need to apologize for my past mistake. And so I invited her to my house and I was like, look.
How much was it?
How much was it? It was...
I think she said it was like $10.
Was it $10?
Yeah, or 1,000 shillings. So you're like, here, you doubled your money.
So I made an agreement with her that first I apologized and then I was like, look, I'm going to double your money. Think about it like it was, you put it in a bank and it was doubling. And she really appreciated it.
Yeah, just the gesture. And
it's just the gesture. And I was just like, it just made me feel so good because it's something that bothered me over the years that
Did it bother you?
A little bit. Like when I thought about it, like I knew she was a kid. She was trying to save money. Mm-hmm. Like it was mean of me.
Yeah, it was mean of you.
Yeah.
So I think one of the things is, for me has been this process of just being able to acknowledge and actually speak it out. Because even some of the frustration I was having beforehand, I actually didn't speak with you about it. And once I spoke it, it did help. And then just acknowledging. And I think the importance of that cannot be overstated. And you said the word apology. I think the other thing is actually just go to take responsibility. And because by taking responsibility, they didn't have to accept the apology. They could have said, I don't accept it. And you say, okay, that's not my problem. That's not my thing. And you don't owe me anything for my apology. I take responsibility. I apologize. And, and I'm going to take the lesson moving forward.
Yeah.
So thanks again for joining us this week on It's Not All Black and White. And remember, if you're checking us out on YouTube, hit the subscribe button below. If you're listening to it on podcast or sitting in front of a video screen for a half an hour is too much, you can find us on Apple Podcasts, Google, Stitcher, pretty much everywhere where you get podcasts. You can find us there. And make sure you subscribe. Then you get the little notice every week when a new one comes out. And always remember, any questions, thoughts, comments, leave a comment below or shoot us an email.
Yeah, thanks for tuning in.
See you next week.
See you next week.